Welcome, Earthlings! Welcome! Welcome to Reptile in the living room. We're not in the living room again today. It's just too darn nice to be inside, so I'm outside. Definitely outside. I enjoy nature. What a wonderful place to just ground. What a beautiful place to just be, right? Today we're going to talk about probably a couple of things, but the main topic I want to talk today about is the Nazis. That's what I want to talk about. And I do want to say that I'm grateful that my videos seem to be helping some folks look at stuff. There's just so much stuff coming at us. It can be very difficult to sort through it and make sense of it. Trust me. I understand how that process goes. Been there, done that for many, many years. And so what I'm trying to do is just bring some things out into the forefront, for us to talk about, so we're no longer in a codependent relationship with a control system designed to use us for purposes that are unhealthy, very unhealthy. We do not want to be in unhealthy relationships with anybody, any system, or with ourselves. The point of us being here on this planet, as far as I can determine, besides loving one another, which is a sign of health, loving ourselves, which is a sign of health, is to grow up. And, we have been presented with an awful lot of darkness here on this planet. Once again, I'm a super positive person, like super positive. I'm very upbeat, and I appreciate everyone in my life. I appreciate the beauty of nature. I appreciate the beauty of animals, and most things. But you know what? When bad things are happening on this planet, I think it's very foolish to turn a blind eye to it. Folks did that in Nazi Germany, and that outcome wasn't so great. As we'll see here, it kind of just kept going. But I do want to address what seems to be happening right now. I have floated around in the world of metaphysics for quite some time, decades now. Have explored what people will call New Age thought, New Age thinking, the New Age movement, which certainly has its good points. But like everything, you kind of got to look at both sides. Do we take the whole thing? Generally, it's a good idea to, look at things and, see their value. If they really don't have a good value, to look at those things. And just like anywhere in life, I think the whole thing is a big test. Bet you I'm going to get that answer right on a test someday. Our whole existence here is a test. And we're going to have to, we got to figure out kind of right from wrong. That's like super duality thinking right there, right and wrong. But you know what? It exists. And, as we spiritually evolve, we will be able to learn how to discern things that maybe don't have quite that duality, but for where we're at in this life, on this planet, at this time, we really do need to work on discernment. And there's something that they mention in Alcoholics Anonymous called a pink cloud. And my personal opinion is a lot of people who are practitioners or students, even teachers of the New Age movement, that's a really broad term. I think it can encompass a lot of things. And I almost think that's just a term to make it all look woo-woo, and it's not. There's a lot of great stuff in it, and a lot of very effective tools that we can use to empower ourselves and others, and to be more healthy. There are people that are in, I'll just say that, adhere to principles of that way. And like, once again, tons of great stuff, and I've used it in my life to bring good things into my life and to bring good things into others' lives as well. But there is a school of thought, and it may be right, I may be wrong. I could be wrong about all this stuff. Once again, all of these shows are my thoughts and opinions based on my experience, what I've read, what I've learned, what I've heard from other people, I do put a lot of emphasis on things I hear from other people. I listen to other people on this planet. Once again, I think that they're generally far more truthful, certainly than our mainstream media, and many other systems of control that we learn from. So yeah, there are people that feel that if I'm looking at bad stuff, if I'm looking at like, you know what, it sounds like Fukushima is still dumping into the ocean, which, it's only about a half mile away from where I live. Not Fukushima, but the ocean. Sounds like, all kinds of sea life is choking on plastic that really shouldn't be in the ocean, as well as other toxins. That I just, as long as I'm on my little pink cloud and thinking everything's great and working on manifesting things in my life, that somehow or another I don't have to care about those things. And once again, my opinion, I think that that's faulty logic. In fact, I think when we ignore other things that are happening in our world, which we share with other people, unless you are so elevated that you're living in your own world, you're not that elevated because I can see you generally preaching to me on YouTube or Facebook. We all share this world together. And I kind of think we're all responsible for changing it for the better so we all can benefit from this incredible, incredible world we've been given to be nourished by. So, yeah, we can create anything we want in our own personal reality. And I think that that's wonderful. And I think that we should use many tools, including reality creation tools, to create a wonderful reality for ourselves and other people. But to turn a blind eye to things that are happening on this planet, and to turn a blind eye to the control system, which has been harming people since day one, that, I don't know, man. Maybe we drank a little too much Kool-Aid. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Because I don't know about other people. I don't feel really good about my life when I see other people hurting, especially children, You want to turn a blind eye to everything. Oh, it's just their karma. It's this, it's that. It's like, it's what they want. It's like, no, when children are being harmed, sorry, they don't have a voice. And if we're ignoring what's happening to them, we're an ass. An ass. That's all. That's my commentary on it. So I think it's all about finding balance. That we are creators and co-creators. Do not forget that point. We are creators and co-creators of our personal reality and our collective realities. So don't feel like we're stuck. I'm going to talk today about a pretty, certainly the ugliest group of people in the last, 120 years. Since the turn of last century. They got their go. They started going sometime in the 20s or 30s. I think the 30s. Although the setup's been there for a super long time. And these were the adherents of the propaganda Adolf Hitler was spewing out of his vomitous mouth. You know what? I'm sure he was a damaged person. It sounds like, he had a hatred towards his father, whoever he was. I don't even think he knew how his father was. And there's certainly some theories about who his father may be. Once again, those are theories. Yeah, that man had some problems. Not only part of the control system, but clearly controlled. And I think I'll start off with how easy it seems to become part of the control system when you have issues with your ego, when you feel you're better than other people, when you feel that somehow or another your race makes you better than other people, or whatever. Didn't you ever wonder, like, okay, what's the hang out with, like, white people are better? First of all, I can't stand white and black and in those terms. I mean, some people are comfortable with them. I'm not. This is white. I don't know. Some people have wanted to call me white. I'm wearing a black and white shirt. Isn't that awesome? Oh, huh. I'll take that as a little symbolism in my rant here today. Nah. Okay. Anyhow. Why don't we hate people for their eye color? Or their hair color? Wouldn't you look kind of stupid if you hated your dog because it had black fur? It's like, oh, all dogs with black fur are whatever. I mean, come on. This is like how stupid it is to buy into any of these ideas. Like, people aren't people just because they're people, right? I mean, like, we're all individuals. That's not, sometimes you do get a group mentality. Now, I will say a way of thinking is maybe something we should be like, that might not be so good. And that thinking would be something along the lines as, the Aryan race is supreme. And that is the line of BS that the people in Germany bought. And I'm sure plenty of them were good people. They were just confused and were listening to a lunatic. And a lunatic who happened to manage to work his way up in the political scene to become the top dog, all right? Although I don't think he was the top dog. I think he was governed by, you know who? Right. Starts with an R, the reptilians, okay? Reptilians who, you know, they got the people that worship the reptilians who are the Luciferians. Yeah, some of their adherents are the Nazis. People like to play with darkness and black magic and all that stuff. Because you know what? They don't know where the real locus of control is. Just right here. Their heart. Their heart, where love is, okay? Among other things. They're very, very confused people. So the Germans were very confused. And anybody else who sided with this idea that somehow or another they were better than other people. And I don't know how this got lost in history, but so many people seem to think it was just the Jewish people who were, you know, targeted and then killed, enslaved and killed. Targeted, enslaved, killed by the Nazis. But the Polish people were a huge group too. For some reason, they were on the hit list, as well as gypsies, as well as gay people, and you know, whoever else they decided wasn't part of their frickin' little stupid club. Now, we gotta watch out for this stuff, man, because this type of mentality seems like it could slip back in pretty easily. And this whole, you know, fringe Democrat, fringe Republican, fringe left, fringe right. I mean, you know, they're both just one step away from being right there again. And we do not want to go there, my friends. We do not, okay? And the reason we're so close to that is because these same freaking monsters that killed all these people, millions and millions and millions. Now, I remember at one point reading 26 million. Last time I looked it up on like some internet source, it was 20 million. Of course, the number has to go down, right? We want to cover all that crap. But, you know, it was probably far beyond our conception of how many millions and millions and millions of people were killed in World War II at the hands of the Nazis, okay? And their crazy ideology that somehow or another they were better than other people. And you know, the things they put these people through it was just crazy, man. I had a conversation recently, albeit rather brief, with somebody who thinks that the Holocaust, like, myth theory, I don't know what it's called. I don't even want to think too hard about it because it was so stupid. Saying that the Holocaust didn't exist. I'd heard there were people like that out there. I'd heard that. But I thought they all had freaking giant dents in their head. Sorry, man. Don't mean to insult you if you have a dent in your head. But apparently some people have been dropped so hard on their heads that they thought that that didn't exist. Okay, well, I had a little conversation with this person and said, well, you know what? A person who was like an uncle to me when I was growing up, my dad's best friend, and I mentioned this, I believe, in another video, not only went through it, he made it out alive, which is amazing. At 17 years old, he was rescued by the American soldiers, weighing 78 pounds. Sorry, I'm touching my eyes and stuff again. Of course, it's more hay fever. I thought I was having a better day. Not so great. It's a good day. I'm just sneezy and my eyes burn and itch. Yeah, the Americans rescued him. 78 pounds. His name was Herman. He was more than a family member to me. He was like a saint, is what he was. He was like a saint. Not only did this man walk away from this experience told me point blank, the things that I learned. A, religion isn't such a great idea. Once again, I'm not going to bash religion here. This is just what he had to say. Religion isn't such a good idea. He was Jewish. And that he forgave his tormentors. Fabulous. I learned a lot from this man. And while I can forgive the people who tormented him and who are tormenting us now, I'm not forgetting. No chance, no frickin' way. Life is too precious to let a bunch of frickin' monsters and maniacs take us all out, or torture us, or experiment on us. They experimented on him in this concentration camp. Not only did they demand nonstop labor, give him obviously very little food, rescued after being there for several years, 78 pounds as a 17-year-old. 78 pounds! Could you imagine that? God. Unfreaking believable. And they killed his entire family. They killed both of his sisters and they killed his parents. And these fools are still running the shadow governments all over the world. Yes, they are. And I'm going to tell you how that all happened. I don't even know how it happened. It just, you just got to be really careful. We have to be really careful about who we let make decisions for us. After World War II, it was probably happening while World War II was in full motion. Of course, many American companies were funding the Germans, including Ford, right, making their tanks. You had all kinds of other huge businesses, huge corporations funding both sides of the war. All right? All right, something's a little funny there, right? And after World War II ended, and I'm sure this was all being negotiated during the war, they say anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000 top Nazi scientists, their smartest guys, the ones that were coming up with all kinds of crazy things to hurt people, came over here to America to start our space program and other three-letter agencies. You will notice on the timeline, I don't have it right here, and I really don't want to get into it. Maybe one of these days I will. And you can do the research yourself because it's out there. You'll see that many of the three-letter agencies we have in this country right now in the United States of America who really do not have the best reputations for a reason because they're insane, psychopathic jerks, for the most part, came over here, started these agencies, started our space program, and pretty much rule the whole show. Not just here, but all over the world. John F. Kennedy, before he got killed, was trying to out them. Yes, he was. This giant military complex all around us. All around us, all over the world. And I'll say another great thing about our current president at this time, and I mentioned it in another video, he is pulling us out of wars. He's pulling us out of what he calls quote-unquote endless wars, and you know what? They have been. And somebody is taking a stand. So whether you like him or not, just kind of put that in there as an accomplishment. It's something moving us in a positive direction, not only as a country, but as a world. So, yeah, and I might not be the happiest little camper on this show because I'm talking about the Nazis, and I have a massive distaste for them. Massive. Massive. Are these people even redeemable? I don't know. I just don't know. Unless it's full-on mind control and that crap can be turned off, maybe. Maybe. Today's cup of tea. I'll take a cup of tea because I'm going down a rocky road right now. Today's cup of tea is delicious chocolate moringa tea with stevia. It's super yummy. Super yummy. And moringa is supposed to be really good for you. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't know how much moringa is even in here. But it's good. I love it. I like chocolate tea. It's yummy. Okay, so the Nazis. Yeah, this crazy group of people got people all stirred up into a fervor. You gotta kind of watch that too. People stirring you up into a fervor. We're in a fervor. You know what? Balance. Balance. Take time to look at both sides of things. And generally people that are trying to stir up a fervor, You know, those that stir the pot are the cooks, right? I think I just made that saying up. I like it. I'm claiming it. I don't think I could put it on Urban Dictionary, but I like it. Yeah, Project Paperclip, man. I mean, what a sellout country. What a sellout. Somehow or another, we managed to get all of these Nazi scientists over into our country to start our space program and other governing agencies. Unbelievable. One of them was Wernher von Braun. And a lot of people kind of paint him in a good light, like maybe he was trying to tell us something. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But, yeah, top Nazi scientist and good guy. It's going to take a little convincing over here. It just is. He's passed away. It'd be interesting to see what his current life is right now from all the things that he involved himself with. Very interesting. Featured almost immediately in several documentaries put together by who? Walt Disney. Walt Disney, the creator of all the Disney cartoons that have formed and shaped so many people's lives because they watched them as children. Wernher von Braun, Walt Disney, arm in arm. Consider that when you're watching a Walt Disney movie or anything put out by that organization. Consider that when more information comes out and we learn more about Hollywood and that strange control system that has been manipulating us via programming to influence how we view life for, I don't know, how long has TV been around? Since the 50s? Probably started in the 40s. Too long. At least it's a control system. Far too long. Yeah, the Fourth Reich stuff. Fourth Reich. Not just Third Reich, Fourth Reich. Apparently that's what we're run under right now. The Fourth Reich. Okay, so on top of all of these scientists coming over from, oh yeah, I'm wearing, not matching today. Could you imagine that? Wearing polka dots and tie-dye. I wanted you to see this. I'm not afraid to flaunt it. Okay, good. I finally got that piece of cat hair out of my eye. Talking about the Fourth Reich, but I want to go back to the Third Reich. There was something I wanted to say about that. The Third Reich. Oh, yeah. So, word on the street from a bunch of whistleblowers at the time was that Adolf Hitler was kind of kicking butt over there with advanced technology in the war because he had gotten into alignment with an off-world group and decided to pair up with them to take us all out on this planet and or subjugate whoever was left with a group of particular beings. You'll never believe who they are. Ever. Okay, you will, because it's the reptilians. That's correct. That is the word, is that Adolf Hitler was working directly with the Draco reptilians to have advanced technology to rule the world, right? Lesson right there. You don't get in bed with the devil. In fact, you don't invite the devil into your house. And in fact, if you see the devil coming, you let everybody know so that we don't engage with the devil, with Satan, with whatever we want to call it. When you get down to it, it's the same group of beings that were mentioned in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, and tons of sacred texts. And they are the serpent beings, the dragons. The dragon stuff might get a little weird. I'm not sure. I'm still thinking about that one. But the dragons, the reptilians, the, what else are they called? The snakes? The snakes, you know, in the Old Testament, Adam and Eve and the snake. Still think Eve took the hit on that one. Just saying. We'll get to the bottom of that story one of these days. Another sip. So yeah. Crazy stuff, man. There was a woman by the name of Maria Orsic. You probably have heard of her, and if you haven't, she was just like this stunningly beautiful woman. Blonde hair, blue eyes, you know. A perfect-looking Aryan woman. And I'm not going to talk bad about her because I don't necessarily think she was a bad person. I think she just got caught up with some information she had. She was getting from some off-world beings, from some off-world source. She was getting information on technology about anti-gravitic propulsion, to my understanding. Then a fellow named Victor Schauberger, who was another German scientist, was helping her out with coming up with the schematics, and Hitler got all that information too. I don't know where she was getting her information. She was in something called the Vril Society, and some of these esoteric societies aren't things that I want to delve into too deeply. I don't always enjoy going down that side of things. I'm definitely more interested in spirituality and how to raise our vibration versus looking at how people might lower it. Get what I'm talking about? So yeah, apparently Hitler had technology for anti-gravitic propulsion, invented something called Die Glocke, which you may have heard of, called the Nazi bell. Die Glocke means bell in German. That's what they tell me. I don't know German, so I'm just going to go with that's true. So yeah, apparently it might have landed somewhere in Pennsylvania many, many years after he released it, which is interesting in and of itself. So the technology to go off-world has been around for a long time. And certainly people from off-world have been visiting us for a long time. And are these beings good or bad? Or somewhere in between? Probably. Okay, Draco reptilians? Yeah. They go to the back of the class in my book. Elevated other beings who have come to assist us along the way. I mean, we've had plenty of them. Boy, I could go on and on forever about the ETs and government involvement. I don't know if you've ever heard of Valiant Thor. There's an incredible video on the internet called Stranger in the Pentagon. There was actually a evangelical preacher by the name of Frank Stranges. 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 And he was this, I mean, evangelical preachers are pretty much like, they have a very strict way of looking at the Bible. And this guy's out talking all over the country to congregations about this extraterrestrial named Valiant Thor who allegedly was living in the Pentagon. And by some accounts, still is there and still working with our government. So much to think about. And hopefully I've tossed some things out to you that you can look up on your own. Of course, with anything you research, you just got to be careful. You got to develop discernment. It's kind of inner knowing. Is it right? Is it wrong? How does it feel? Sometimes it feels really good, and later on you're like, dang, I was duped. That just kind of shows us our discernment's not very developed. That's all. Just takes time. So, yeah, they told us that Hitler committed suicide along with Eva Braun. I remember hearing that in school too, thinking, right. Somebody that controlling, somebody that mean and that evil is like, all right, man, I lost the war, I'm going to kill myself. Like, he didn't have ways to escape. Give me a break. Of course, most people have heard the theory that he moved down to Argentina and stayed there for the rest of his life. And it seems more than obvious there are plenty of old Nazi communities down in Argentina that are still quite active. And Antarctica is another place they went. And that is a whole other story in and of itself as well. So much to talk about. Isn't it exciting? And it's great to talk about these things because you know what? There's a reason why people talking about these things have been deemed crazy or whatever, stupid, whatever society has decided to call us for talking about these things, something very demeaning. It's to keep us quiet. It's to keep us shut up. And as I said before, I ain't shutting up. I'm talking about this stuff because when we talk about things, we can deal with it and we can move into a healthier reality. No more codependence. I'm not being codependent on a system anymore. No. I don't want to be codependent with a whole group of people I don't even like. Ew. No, thank you. And to think that they think they're better than me, they got another thing coming. We're all God's children. Even if we're complete idiots, still God's children. Yeah. So apparently, this world is still run by the Nazis. Only now I believe they're referred to as the Fourth Reich. And they are all over the world. You will find them generally at the top of multinational corporations, which are doing things to destroy our planet and destroy our health as quickly as they can. And everybody always says to me, well, why would they do that? I mean, if they're hurting us, they're hurting them too. Well, not quite, because they have these bunkers underground all over the frickin' world that I hear many are like 5-star hotels that have been built with all of our tax money, okay? Among other things, all kinds of money laundering has been gone on. Not just tax money, but money to organizations we think we're helping. We're not helping at all. They're taking the money and they're laundering it and building up their beautiful little homes so that when the S hits the fan, they get to hide out in beautiful dwellings underneath the ground. And they're everywhere. They're all over this planet. And heavens to Betsy. I mean, when you look at the maps of this country alone and what's happening underground, it's nuts. There's this whole other world underground we are completely ignorant of for the most part, because they don't teach it in school, because school's a control system, you know? And if you're lucky, you might see some inclination of this on some television shows, you know, that are generally considered conspiratorial as well, and they're just trying to break the news to you slowly, because there is universal law. They have to let us know what they're doing in order to get away with things. It's a universal law. Well, guess what? We know what you're up to, and we don't like it. You need to knock it off and learn how to share this planet with us. If you're going to be around, you need to learn how to share the planet with us. You're not better than us. You never were. You're never going to be ever better than us. We're all God's children. So, sad to say, we are still under the control of the Nazis. If I'm going to fight anything in life, my friends, it's going to be the Nazis. I don't like them. They killed my uncle's entire family. They killed my father's cousins right in front of his face. They wanted it. They wanted their water. They wanted my dad's cousins' water. And my dad watched them get their heads blown off right in front of his face. Do those sound like nice people? No. They're currently running our world. They must be stopped. I believe we have a president at this time who's working on doing just that. I also believe he's the front man for a huge organization that is global, that's taking down this global cabal. If you want to learn more about this global cabal, I think a great resource for that is former Minister of Defense of Canada, twice, not Minister of Defense once, but twice, Paul Hellyer. Last name, Hellyer. Fantastic man. Wrote a book called The Money Mafia, all about these lunatics all over our world who are running it for profit, but mostly for power, because they got all the money and all the gold and all the jewels and all the Jaguars and all the whatevers, underground bunkers that they need. But we're not fully compliant in letting them have control over us. And when you're a psychopath or even a sociopath or a narcissist, what you need is control over other people, because you have no self-awareness. And so, you know, I mean, we all know we're being watched, right? I mean, that's no mystery, right? Smartphones, smart TVs, satellites, washing machines. I think washing machines and refrigerators, smart ones watch us now. Whatever. You know what? I could give a flying you-know-what. I don't want people watching me. They don't have a right to. But I know that we're all being watched. But you know what? I'm not walking in fear. I'm not walking in fear of any of these beings, because they are lower vibrational beings. These people are aligned with a group of reptilian beings that have been mentioned all over our planet, once again, all over our planet since antiquity. These are lower vibrational beings. When we no longer play their game, when we no longer vibrate at their frequency, and they really want to keep us locked in fear, they want to keep us locked in division and fighting, they want to keep us locked in depression. When we're no longer vibrating at their resonance, their resonance frequency, we're no longer vibrating there, we're not going to be in their world anymore. And so one of the things we can do to pull our own personal power back is to not ignore what's happening around the world right now, especially right now. We really have a golden opportunity to look at this control system and go, you know what? This crap is not working for me. It's not working for the planet. It's not going to work for our future. It's not going to work for our children. It's not working. And we're going to fix it, okay? And we're going to fix it by dealing with the psychopaths that have been running our world for a really, really long time. And just like with any disease, if you go towards the root cause, you can completely eliminate the problem. You see what I'm saying? And the root cause is this lower astral vibrational force of beings and or maybe their gang leader, Satan or Lucifer or whatever you want to call him. And they just want us to think they have power. That's the hilarious thing. If we buy the lie, they get control over us. Well, it's from everything I've read, it's going to be as easy can be. We can out these people. We can tell them we're no longer playing their game, the beings and their minions, and we lift up our consciousness. Everywhere we look right now, we hear the Great Awakening. And I think some people think that that's just like, we're learning like who the good guys are and the bad guys are in our political system. That's not it. No. I don't even like the term woke. We're not awake. We are awakening. We'll probably be awakening until we return to our one source, to the creator of all life. We need to deal with the perps, man. Deal with the perpetrators. Deal with them all. You know how like there's maps of sex offenders? We need maps of all the little Dracos, Draco Reptilians, minions. We need maps of where they live so we can all keep an eye on them. Keep an eye on them and not let them hurt anybody anymore. The bottom line is the people that work for them and are aligned with this darkness are hurting themselves. They are so confused. They are so confused. And I'm sure a huge part of that is mind control. Some of these people are born, and most of them are born into these families that are, talk about dysfunction junction. I mean, I think we need to start a 12-step group for Draco Reptilians children's. I don't know what we would call it. We'll have to think about that. Right? Reptilian Anonymous. Seriously. From that standpoint, maybe some of them can be redeemed. I think that's things like we need to talk about. And for any of them who may be listening to this, because this stuff is out on YouTube now, for anybody who may be listening to this, you know what? You've done some horrible things. And just like anybody who's made mistakes, we're going to have to deal with the consequences of our behavior. All right? I don't know what those consequences are going to be. You know what? It might be a lifetime behind bars, being of service to others. But you know what? That would be a much better life than what you're doing right now. Because what you're doing is you're digging yourself deeper and deeper into lower densities. Lower densities, lower densities, lower densities. You know what? If you have any gratification whatsoever right now, it's not going to last long. That's not how the universe works. And you probably know that, unless you're so confused that you don't, and then I'm telling you that right now. The worse you are, and the more destructive behavior you participate in, and the more you are aligned with this dark alliance, this dark force, this evil that wants to do harm to other people for your benefit, you are just going deeper and deeper and deeper. And you know what? Yeah, there's the reptilians. There are the people of their direct lineage or said direct lineage. There are the ruling class of this world. There are the stars. The stars, something to look up to, something heavenly, hardly in most cases, as we're seeing with the whole Nexium cult and who was that other weirdo from Hollywood? Weinstein. That is one of the ugliest worlds. That whole thing needs to be tossed into the garbage and rebuilt from scratch so that we have a media system in our world that tells us truth. Truth about ancient history, truth about who we are, and gives us things that we can grow from. Man, last time I went to the movies, like every preview scared the crap out of me. That's what they want. Oh yeah, violence is okay. No, violence isn't okay. Having the crap scared out of you leaves you in a traumatic state, which is, in my opinion, not a counselor, not anything, just a human being who's really sick and tired of this shit. Yeah, violence doesn't bring us anywhere that's healthy. That's not enlightenment, my friends. That's not enlightenment. And yeah, you may have to put on your warrior cape right now and help end this process in a peaceful fashion. There may be people on this planet right now that are not having to use peace to take down some of these beings because they're that out of control and are hell-bent on destroying our lives and our planet, and especially our children. Oh my God, when we find out what's been done to them, you know, when we really find out, it's not going to be good. You know, learning these things is not easy. I mean, I realize that. This is not fun information. It's not. But you know what? It's empowering information. And it will lead us to getting our lives, I mean, not just back on track because they've always been off. Bringing in a state of heaven on earth to our planet, okay? We have that opportunity. Jesus talked to us about it, okay? And we are entering that golden age right now. I don't know if everybody's going to be able to take this particular ride. There may be people that just don't want to get better, that are okay with the drama, that are okay with the trauma, and okay with being the villains, you know? I do believe that there are many higher sources that are guiding us right now, an ultimate high source that eventually is just going to put an end to it. But I also believe that for those of us who really, really try and aspire to be better human beings, to be better to ourselves and to be better to others, and to be better to this beautiful, gorgeous planet, our Mother Gaia, and to take care of it, we'll be rewarded. I'll just believe it. I know it. Right here in my heart. This beautiful, beautiful heart space. So today, let's work from this space, okay? Today, let's do our best to just bring this love that we can feel in our hearts. Just feel that love. Just imagine, like right here, like your heart, this beautiful sacred heart, just emanating just loving thoughts and loving energy everywhere we go. There is energy all around us. Everything is energy. We're energy, okay? Just slow down to a particular state of matter. Just send out that love everywhere we go. And let's continue to lift up the vibration of this planet. Do you want a bunch of Nazis running this world? Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. They can go elsewhere. I don't know where, but not in my space. Be a hero today. Send out love. Inform yourself. Look up Valiant Thor. Pretty interesting stuff. And Frank Strange's. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's certainly interesting. I mean, what is true? I don't know. Pretty sure the Nazis existed. Pretty sure that was a tattoo on my friend Herman's arm. Pretty sure he was telling the truth about his whole family being killed. We're going to do something about it. We're going to sit here and take it. That's our choice, right? Can I live on a pink cloud? Everything's wonderful in my world. Well, it can be wonderful in your world, but you know what? We're not fully developed until we make sure everything is good all around us, especially for those with no voice, especially for the beautiful birds flying, especially for the insects, all of these things that are being harmed by chemicals and probably electromagnetic weapons and other things, and giant cell phone towers emitting all kinds of radiation. I mean, just my guess. I don't know for sure if they're all unhealthy, but I've seen the insect population diminish and the bird population diminish where I live over the last 4 or 5 years in a horrific manner. Had more than one trip across the beach, tripping across dead birds, step after step after step. Something's not right there. So, pink cloud, I guess some of you gurus can sit there, but you know what? If I see suffering on this planet, especially when those suffering don't want to be suffering, I'm going to get off my ass and do something. And by all means right now, pray. Pray for help. Pray for intercession on this planet. Pray and do something. God helps those who help themselves. All right. Love you guys tons. Thank you for hanging out with me through this particular video of Reptile in the living room, where we're not going to put up with the dysfunction any longer. We're talking about it, no matter how crazy people think we are. As you can see, no tinfoil hat today. None whatsoever. Perfectly proud to be me, happy to be me, and sharing this message with you. I love you. Peace.